Most men have no idea what to do to sort of lose weight in terms of like structure in the week, in terms of training, nutrition. They just sort of like throw the kitchen sink at it, or again, just go in sort of like a headless chicken. They have no sort of structure, they have no sort of plan, no sort of template to follow. If you've got a hectic life, again, you don't know what you're doing in the gym, don't know what you do when it comes to nutrition, you just want some sort of structure, want some sort of like routine, then this video is for you. I'm Alun. I've been in the industry 14 years and I help hundreds of guys just like you who are so frustrated with their lack of progress, like needed that kickstart, didn't have that structure, didn't really know what they were doing, but have now gone on to feel amazing. They're able to whip their top off on holidays, they've shifted the belly, feel confident, and they've kept the weight off. I've made it my mission to help as many men as possible feel that for themselves too. If you want to achieve the same, the roadmap to achieving that kind of transformation is linked in the description below under the free Beachboard Kickstart. It covers everything you need to change, from training, nutrition, like tutorials, everything you need to change, and you can start seeing results within 1 to 2 weeks. This is how I would set my week up to sort of lose the belly, okay? Because people think it's all about sort of starting Monday, throwing the kitchen sink at it, and then sort of just going as hard as I can when it's low. Again, you probably tried that before, and that's why it hasn't worked out for you. That's why you only last perhaps a week or two, okay? So first of all, let's break it down, break it into the components. So let's look at the first thing is just getting more active. Again, because this is how I sort of what I go through with my clients when they start. Okay, let's look at the activity first, like stuff outside the gym. And then let's look at sort of your step count, like how active are you, what steps you getting done. And what we want to do is push that up by about 2 to 3K then per day. So again, for most people, it might be aiming for 8K a day, 10K a day. And just obviously having that as a sort of like your daily sort of movement goal. Okay, sort of like if you are sort of an office worker, sat down a lot, whatever, then it's just like, okay, no, I need to get some steps in, get up and moving. This is such a sort of a big thing and underused sort of part of sort of losing weight, because again, it's low impact. It doesn't take like a massive sort of like, it's not a massive demand on the body. And again, it doesn't push up your appetite or anything like that. Again, it's just sort of, it's such easy stuff you can do. Just get up and walk around and do through the day that has a massive impact when it comes to losing weight. So again, that's what we want to do, is just get that sort of that step goal. Again, start sort of, okay, get more active through the day. Again, aim for perhaps, I don't know, 7, 8, 10,000 steps. And then just, as I said, move in. Again, perhaps you already are. Perhaps you're already doing sort of 12 to 15,000. Perhaps if you're on your feet all day with your job, who knows? So then what we want to look at is obviously exercise and training. So what we want to do is like preferably obviously some lifting, some strength work in the gym. Perhaps like sort of 3 days a week. That's what we want to look at. So 3 days a week. We don't need to sort of perhaps jump to 5. We don't need to do, like, again, it's just trying to get perhaps, if we're just starting, like 2 to 3, again, let's get those sessions in. Like when we want to go to the gym now, especially if we're starting from scratch, we want to just sort of go more sort of like a full body approach. So hitting that full body in one go. Why? Because again, it's not going to create too much overload in one sort of area, like doing a chest day or a leg day, which is going to batter us then for the next few days. Like sort of like you do a leg day or something like that, you copy some sort of bodybuilding workout, then that's going to like sort of for 3-4 days, you're going to be ruined and you're going to not be able to train that muscle again for a while. And then like again, your body, if you're new to it, you're like that muscle that doesn't need that much stimulus. It's not strong enough. It can't handle that. Like I said, if you come in from not doing much or just getting started, you don't need to do like 7 exercises for your chest, because your chest hasn't got the capacity to tolerate that. So that's why we go sort of a full body, like sort of 1 exercise per muscle group. What that look like is perhaps again 6 to 8 exercises. We start off obviously like a bench press, a chest press, work the pecs. Then we go to sort of like perhaps a lower body, like a leg extension or a leg press. Then we'd go to some sort of like a back movement, like a pull in, like a seated row or like a pull down. Then we could go back to some sort of another pressing movement, perhaps now like a shoulder press. And we just, again, move through like the sort of the different like muscles of the body. Like so go on to sort of some ab movement then, whether it's like a V-sit or a plank hold, perhaps do some arms then at the end. And then like sort of the next workout, we do a similar approach, but we change the exercises and perhaps change the order. So perhaps the first workout, we started like pressing. We started with like upper body pressing. The second workout, we'll start with lower body. Perhaps we'll start with sort of like a squat. And then we'll go with like a different order and then different exercises. So instead of like a chest press on the machine, we could now go like a dumbbell incline press. Instead of like a seated row or lat pull down, again, we could do like an assisted pull up, a single arm row, things like that. We just change these movements. So again, you're hitting the sort of the muscle from sort of multiple times a week then, from different movements, different angles, and creating that overload, and then so working that sort of that full body strength. Because the other thing then is like, if people only training 2-3 times a week and you're hitting just like one body part, you're missing other body parts. People who do like a chest day or like a back day, something like that, okay, like, and you only train 3 times a week. Well, stuff's getting missed. You're gonna miss sort of body parts, you're gonna miss legs or miss other stuff, whatever. And then it's just like, that's just gonna create imbalances, and it's gonna create problems later down the line. So what we're gonna do, we're in, we're out, we get to sort of like the workout done. It takes about 45 minutes. This is what I do with most of my clients. Who are sort of training perhaps 2-3 times a week. Again, we go in like sort of 6 to 8 exercises, perhaps 3 to 4 sets on each, 8 to 12 reps, somewhere around there. Again, and if you're a beginner, start with more the machines, go around the machines, like, because again, it's low skill. Again, it's only sort of, you don't have to think, it only moves in one plane of motion. So you can go into that, and then we can go, okay, like, if you're more sort of like knowledgeable at the gym, you can try like, using dumbbells, free weights, things like that, cables. But again, it's just going in, so perhaps like 6 to 8 exercises, work on them, like the muscle group, the body. I mean, like I said, if you want the sort of the full plan, obviously you click the link in the description below, get a free Beachbody Kickstart, because that's what's all about. This is what I dive into there. So we got sort of the workouts there. So we got the sort of, okay, we get sort of, again, like perhaps 3 workouts in, 3 full bodies, getting 6 to 8 exercises. We're hitting sort of 3 to 4 sets on each. So across sort of perhaps, like say, 21 sets, like 3 sets of 7 exercises, let's say that, 21 sets across the sort of that workout. So that's sort of like our training done. And what we want to do then in our work each week, in those workouts, is progress them, progressively overload, get stronger, lift a bit more weight, do a bit more reps on that weight, or perhaps do another set on that weight, okay? Progress something in some way. So what that looks like is, let's say we did sort of bench press, like dumbbell bench press. Say we did the 20k dumbbells, say we did 10, 10, and 10. 3 sets of 10 on the 20k dumbbells. What we could do next week is perhaps we go 12, 12, 12. Perhaps we could try, that's one option, perhaps we could do the sort of the 22.5k dumbbells, the next weight up, and then see what we get on those. Or perhaps we do sort of 4 sets on the sort of on the 20k dumbbells. So we get 4 sets of 10 instead of 3 sets of 10. And it's just, like I said, so we're trying to get some sort of progression each week on the sort of the first 2 lifts. So we're getting stronger, we're forcing the sort of the body to get stronger, forcing to build muscle, and then, yeah, like I said, that's how we want to progress. So then when it comes to your eating up, what we want to do is map out the week. And I look at sort of, okay, what do we sort of, how does our week look in terms of work and other stuff we've got going on? So then we can plan our meals. This is the big thing. A lot of people just sort of like eat on the go, like sort of they just wait until they're hungry or they're starving, and then, oh my God, I need something to eat now. I need to get food. What should I get? And they just go and grab something. They just go and grab whatever, meal deal, anything like that. And this is generally crap, higher in calories, and just sort of expensive as well. And this obviously, and then this has people do this again for the next meal then as well, and this is how they have a takeaway later on in the evening. So this, again, it doesn't get you anywhere. You're always eating like so much calories, and again, it's just, there's no nutrition in it. So again, it's just not benefiting you. So what you want to do is look at your meals. Okay, let's say we're having breakfast, we're having lunch, possibly an afternoon snack, and then we'll have a look at dinner. So let's look at that. What are we going to have? Because, and again, we break the meal down. We want to have like some protein in each meal. Protein is the backbone of each meal, because that's obviously going to help us sort of maintain muscle, like stay strong and progress in the gym. It's going to help us feel full. It's going to curb our appetite, and again, obviously, it's lower in calories as well. Then we've got sort of like some fruit or veg. We want to have that with each meal, like fruit, veg, or salad. Again, lower in calories, high in nutrients, and it keeps us full as well. So that's what we want to have, like a big part of our plate. And then obviously we go on some carbs on our meal, whether that's sort of oats, rice, potatoes, because this is fuel. This is just obviously energy to get through the day, to lift, to recover, and just sort of, again, just to have energy, and not sort of just, and to sustain stuff. Okay, and then there's some meals we can have some like a source of fat then as well, just for like optimizing like all our hormones, things like that. So that could be like avocados, olive oil, coconut oil, stuff like that, peanut butter, things like that. Okay, so then what we've got those are how we build a meal, a jigsaw. And then what we want to look at is how much we need to be eating, because that's always the governing factor. Like, how much are we eating? Like, it doesn't matter sort of, oh, I'm eating good, or I'm eating kind of healthy, I'm eating clean. It doesn't matter. That, like, sort of, well, how much is that? Like, how many calories is that? That's where it matters. It's like saying to sort of like, again, HMRC, or again, you try and go and submit your tax return, and you're just like, oh yeah, it's been an okay year. I've had a sort of a decent turnover. You have to like submit specific numbers. You have to track everything and just sort of like give them sort of perhaps breakdowns and stuff and specific numbers. You can't just like, oh yeah, it's been decent, because what the hell does that mean? So it's the same thing with nutrition. So then we've got to sort of, okay, how much do we need? So what we want to look at is your body weight in pounds, and then times that by 10 to 12. Okay, times that by 10 to 12, like dependent, like 12 being if you're more active, if you like sort of like more on your feet more, train more, things like that, because you're obviously going to need more calories. But yeah, times your body weight in pounds by 10 to 12, that's going to give you sort of an estimate of like how many calories you need each day. For most guys, again, you probably want to be sort of, again, ballparking 2,000 to 2,500 calories per day. Again, obviously you can start there again, because that's what, again, the starting point is don't get overly concerned, because that's where obviously you start from, see, and then do that for like 2 weeks. How is your body progressing? Because this is what you want to do. Start tracking stuff now. So you start sort of like, okay, start using something like MyFitnessPal, NutriCheck, whatever. You start logging down your food. You start tracking it. How much am I eating? You're hitting sort of 2,300 calories. Okay, cool. And then you sort of find out the sort of, oh my God, my weight isn't sort of going anywhere. Okay, perhaps again, we bring it down. Can we bring it down to 2,000 calories then? What happens? Oh my God, my weight starts dropping now. Okay, amazing. There we go. We find the numbers, and that's just about it. It's sort of like the calorie calculators are not perfect. Again, it's just a guideline to start. And then what you have to do is you start there, you start taking action, monitor the sort of the outcomes, monitor how your body's changing, and then you make like changes from that. Okay, and again, it's like what I do with every client. Okay, everything we start off with, perhaps like, okay, let's just do this as like the best guess. Let's estimate, let's see how you feel on this, let's see how this works for you. And then we'll track it, see how your body responds. Okay, and then we'll adjust from there. Okay, what weight's coming down? Great, awesome. Okay, like sort of, yeah, what like it's sort of stabilizes, maintaining. Okay, then we just drop it. Okay, and then the weight starts dropping. I said, like, this is what you need to get in the habit of, again, tracking stuff, tracking data, like the actions you were taking and the outputs. So then it's easy to see, okay, cool, this is what I need to change. Okay, let's bring this down, like, and just sort of, we can know what to do. And that's it. So you got your overall calorie goal, and then sort of, like I said, breaking that down to perhaps 3 meals a day, or 3 meals and a snack, whatever, or 2 meals. Like, it doesn't matter sort of how you structure your day, so to speak. Some people fast in the morning, and then they sort of have first meal at midday. Again, it doesn't. Some people don't have breakfast. Doesn't matter. Okay, like I said, it's more about the total calories across the day and across the week. So again, building the sort of the meals like a jigsaw. Like I said, if we're having sort of say 2,000 calories a day, easy maths, then perhaps having breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we could have sort of like 600 sort of like 500 to 600 calories per meal, and then sort of, okay, perhaps 100 to 200 calories snack then as well. And it's just like I said, we break that down. And then sort of, again, so each meal, okay, I want sort of about 500 to 600 calories from this, with having some protein, having some fruit or veg, and then some carbs. And then sort of each meal, again, having about 30, 40 grams of protein. So that's what we want to be aiming for. And then you start doing that. You start putting these things together, like, so you got your activity, you're getting perhaps 8 to 10,000 steps in, you're getting sort of perhaps 3 gym sessions in, like lifting, you're progressing there, and then you're sort of like tracking your food, getting about 2,000 calories a day, eating sort of mostly sort of more protein, more fruit and veg, things like that. And then like sort of you start monitoring your weight. Again, like you monitor that, see how it's adjusted. Is the body changing? Is it changing you want to? For most people out, they will be. That will be the case. Again, it's obviously all dependent, but like these sort of, if you increase the activity, you control the calories and eat better food, you're gonna start progressing. You're gonna start feeling better. And then like, so if it's not, again, you can got all the numbers then to easily sort of tweak it. Oh, okay, like. Or again, you can see sort of if you haven't been doing stuff, it's easy to see. And that's the sort of like the system sort of I use myself, my clients, again, just to sort of how to start sort of shifting the belly.